Gogan's hogging all the tacos as usual, man. Anybody who's hung out with Michael Gogan, you try to get some food in with this man, he's going to get it,
We're good.
especially on Taco Tuesday.
All right,
So
Troy. I think we're good now.
here we are back live.
You probably botched that first one a little bit anyway. So anyway, tell us a little bit about balance claims. Sorry about the technical there, and we'll then fire some questions your way.
Hello, Facebook. Hello, everybody. Industry. I'm Troy Clymer, co-founder of Balance Claims, CFO, COO. Balance Claims is the largest third-party administrator business process outsourcer for contractors in the United States. 30 employees, been operating as Balance since 2015. We rebranded in 2015 to Balance from our original company, SIC, Solutions for Insurance Consulting. Handled 30,000 plus claims for contractors in 47 states over the last 5 years, and proud members of the Catalyst Group, and just happy to be here with our friends CompanyCam. We do a lot with CompanyCam. Sport the Sales Rabbit hat. Want to give a shout out to my guys at Sales Rabbit, another great software Catalyst Group company. And we're here to talk about it with Gogan and kick this off, talk a little bit about some claims misperceptions, and we encourage you to reach out to us at Balance Claims. You can reach us at success@balance with a D, BALANCED, claims.com. Get a hold of us via phone at 888-618-0367. They'll bring you into our corporate office. Again, 34 staff, 7,000 square feet of centralized office space, all designed around simplifying and providing a world-class outsourcing and administrative experience for contractors in the United States when it comes to files, projects, and claims handling. We partner with the best of breed software companies like CompanyCam, Sales Rabbit, many others. You can visit Balance's website at balanceclaims.com and also visit the Catalyst Group website at thecatalyst.group.co. I'm getting hand signals that mean we're having some technical difficulties here.
We're good.
We're good. All right, well, let's rock and roll, man. Get us moving here, Gogan. I'm excited about this. Really happy to kick off the inaugural taco about it.
Absolutely. So, I just got some quick questions here. Obviously, you're the expert, so you'll probably dive into some new stuff and even trigger some new questions for me. The first one, though, so, misconceptions with the claim. I see all the time, the people out there that are going to send you leads, kind of the front end of that storm. The storm's coming. We're going to make a ton of sales. We got our sales guys trained. We've got all the leads we can have. How important is, the law of all of this in terms of, compliance and staying compliant to the law? How often does it change? Is it, archaic that it's been the same for years? Or are we going to, see some new stuff all the time? So talk a little bit about compliance and, how important that is.
Compliance is the most important factor. And at Balance, we are a compliant business process outsourcer. That means being compliant for our clients, the contractors, in 47 states right now. The tricky thing, and those of you out there who are lawyers, public adjusters, appraisers, general adjusters, we work with these people every day. At Balance, we're not a public adjusting firm. We're not lawyers. We're an administrative business process outsourcer for contractors. So we need to educate our contractors on the compliance laws in their state and be educated by them. For those of you who are doing insurance restoration contracting, you understand, especially you stormers out there, that the compliance varies state to state. For instance, in Texas, it's highly regulated now. You've got Texas and their state government enforcing the 4102 very aggressively, especially going after contractors for the unauthorized practice of public adjusting, UPPA, the unauthorized practice of law. Florida as well, another highly compliant state. So you've got states that have compliance regulations that are being enforced by the government where it's criminal. You could end up in jail if you're doing things wrong. So it's very important as a contractor to understand the compliance of your state and work with an organization that can help you handle your files and projects in a compliant manner for that state. As you go in and like Michael said, you're chasing storms, you're attacking, you're selling, especially if you're doing state-to-state storming. It's very important to have resources to understand the laws, the regulations, and the compliance, what's enforced, what's not just for codes, but also on how you can discuss and consult with policyholders about their insurance claim. In certain states, Florida and Texas, you cannot at all. You need to be very careful, not only in how you're communicating with them, but also in how you're representing your company and your brand, which goes all the way from your marketing to your contract paperwork and your language. We recommend at Balance that you have a lawyer who understands compliance, that is a specialist at understanding the insurance claims compliance law for that state, review all of your contracts and documents, especially if you're in Florida or Texas or some of the other heavily regulated states of compliance. At Balance, we have a lot of good resources we can recommend depending on where you're at. That can consult with you on that and make sure that you're working with your clients in a compliant way, especially when you're out selling. That your paperwork and your contracts, that you're going to work through the customer service process with our compliance in that state, and that the entire process as you make that sale and you work on that project from sell to bill is compliant. So we've got some great resources on the Balance website. If you visit our website at balanceclaims.com, you can click on our blog. We've got a whole compliance area focuses on some of these different themes of compliance in different states. We don't have a whole lot of time to dive into it right now, but if you want to reach out to me offline, it's Clymer, CLYMER at balance with the D claims.com, and we can get you some resources in your area specific to compliance.
Absolutely, and I've got both Troy and myself at the end here. I've got our emails on a little slide that I'll pull up, so anybody watching can grab that. Definitely kind of where I was leaning. I was kind of thinking the same thing with compliance. And then he kind of triggered a few other questions for me with that answer. You know, like I said, I know quite a bit about Balance. You know, if I were a roofing contractor, I would definitely have Balance, you know, on speed dial and almost use Balance kind of as an overflow, as, you know, not a storm, maybe not as many claims. Storm comes, we're overloaded, we want to get out, we want to, you know, use the hail traces of the world, we want to use the sales rabbits, we want to sell. Now we've got all these claims we've got to get processed. You know, how important is having that internal team, you know, for your supplementing and your claims process that can then connect with that third party if that's the route you go? You know, do you see that being an issue with a lot of contractors where they don't really even have an internal team?
That's a great framework of the question there. It's so important as a contractor that you are set up internally and you understand how to handle the insurance claim process from estimating and supplementing. At Balance, we're the largest in the country at business process outsourcing for contractors dealing with insurance work, estimating, supplementing, all the front end and back end administration that goes along with that. We spend a lot of time educating our customers and our friends. Some of our closest contractors we work with are not necessarily our clients. They're large contractors in different parts of the country, medium contractors, small-sized contractors that we're just in communication with, working and sharing information with their internal teams. Typically at Balance, because of our scale, we're handling some percentage of a contractor's files and project work. Typically, it's in the 40 to 60% range. So it's very important and healthy as a contractor that you have an internal person, if you're smaller, or a team that can handle the estimating, the supplementing, and the claims admin process as all of their job or part of their job. When we're interfacing with a customer at Balance, that person or those people on that team become our primary day-to-day point of contact. Obviously, we're working with the sales people, the management, the project management, and the back office for billing and finance and money. But the actual people at the contractor internally that are doing the estimating and supplementing are very important. Most contractors, especially as they scale through the bell curve of their business, their model changes from being maybe outsource everything when they begin, so they have the bandwidth to sell and work with their clients and grow fast. And then as they grow and they have more resources, they do bring on some internal staff, and it's important to be able to bring some of that claim management, file handling inside your company, especially because it's such a profit center. And you want to understand that part of your business. So, take, for example, a client. We have several clients that we've been working with for 5 years. When they started out, they were small. It was a startup contracting company. 100% of their workload was coming to Balance. as they grew, their resources expanded. They took back some percentage of that. That's healthy. We advocate that. We actually work very closely with contractors to help them build internal estimating and supplementing departments. We provide free consulting and paid consulting in this area. And then as they scale, they get to a point where then it maybe becomes more advantageous to outsource more of that percentage of claims again to balance. We have many large clients. We do business with many of the top 100 contractors in the country and some small startups. And so that life cycle of a contracting company, as it evolves, dictates what's most appropriate. We've got some good resources on our website as well that can talk about just some white papers that we've produced that talk about the advantages of having an internal claims department versus an external or a hybrid, and what that looks like, and what are some of the waypoints in your business that can help you determine what's smart to do at that time. And then one thing I'll tell you at Balance, whenever you're working with us or any of our friends in the space, all of the top flight business process outsourcers in this area for claims management, claims handling, are going to give you good, honest information on what's right for your business. We actually have a practice at Balance of sending files back to contractors that don't warrant coming to us. If they're already well estimated by the insurance carrier or something, there's not enough meat on the bone, so to speak, we want to get them back into your hands with some coaching at no cost so you can just go ahead and handle that yourself. So we advocate very strongly that all contractors understand the claims process A to Z. We don't have a lot of time to go through all that today. Again, we do have some good resources on our website, balanceclaims.com. If you click on our blog, there's a whole area of white papers that discusses the advantages of outsourcing your claims versus insourcing, what a hybrid model looks like, and what are some things to consider as you go through your growth cycle on when the right time is to outsource and insource and have a hybrid model, and what percentages make sense for you.
Absolutely. You use the line there, meat on the bones, and that's something that, obviously contractors are drawn to. When I'm talking to contractors and I'm selling CompanyCam or, trying to show them the benefits of CompanyCam, the meat on the bones, that's really what it gets down to. Balance.
It's very important, and there's no magic number. It depends on what state, what the contractor's business model is, how saturated they are, what time of the season it is, right? And we have a lot of contractors that what we're trying to do at Balance is be a resource that is efficient and cost effective for our clients. So it should make sense to outsource because the ROI that you're getting back, 400% or more on average at Balance. Some of our clients, 700% or more, right? You know who you are if you're one of those clients. But should benefit your organization. It shouldn't be that your cost is high and you're spending money. It should give you time back to go and do more sales, acquire more projects, grow your company. Certain times of the season, certain regions of the country, that changes depending on, this has been a light storm year this year through the first 6 months. We've really had a significant amount of hail, especially that just hit in May and on. So we've had a lot of clients who have had the capacity, so to speak, to work and handle their own files. That's excellent. You need to know how to do that, but then we need to deploy and sell. That number of what is the meat on the bone number might change because you just want it handled. I always use this analogy of mowing my lawn. I'm on vacation right now, first vacation I've had in a while, much needed. Someone else is mowing my lawn while I'm gone. And usually when I'm at home, those of you who read Grant Cardone, he talks about this all the time. If there is something better you could be doing with your time other than picking up leaves or walnuts in your yard. Those of you who have read Be Obsessed to Be Average, he talks about that. Mowing your lawn, so to speak. So you're just outsourcing the mowing of your lawn to Balance. So instead of mowing your lawn, you can focus on sales, growing, and running your business, the selling, building, and billing. So it's important for us to determine on a contractor by contractor basis what that meat on the bone number is and establish that, and then understand how it changes throughout the course of a year, throughout the course of a quarter even. So we're managing their files appropriately and sending back to them things that should be in their in-house team versus coming to Balance because it's more profitable for them to handle them that way. Versus when they get very busy, having that overflow of everything might come out to Balance for a while when they focus on deploying against a fresh storm and they want to really drive sales and grow their business. So These things are always in fluctuation. It's important to understand that and define that number and that standard operating procedure, and it differs by region of the country and by client.
Absolutely. You kind of, I love how you ended there with the operating procedure. So, when I talk about CompanyCam with roofing contractors, restoration contractors, that process and that operating procedure is something I always, hone in on. And I kind of liken it to, coaching football. Everybody loves to get their offense where it should be. The leads, having their sales guys trained up and ready to go. And a lot of times you kind of neglect that next level or the defense. And I talk about the process in, I look at documentation because that's what CompanyCam is doing, is helping your sales guys properly document a loss. How important, I know this answer, so I'm kind of teeing it up for you, but how important is that documentation that Balance would maybe receive from a contractor and, having that in CompanyCam? Is that good for you guys, or, what's that relationship like there for you guys?
It's very important to have proper documentation. Whether you're handling an internal or an external claims department or a hybrid, documentation is the most important thing. For those of you that have worked with an outsourced claims handling firm like Balance, public adjusters, appraisers, lawyers, the biggest frustration that we have in supporting contractors is not getting all the proper documentation on a file efficiently. That includes, most importantly, photos. As Michael hit at Balance, we're in such a close partnership with CompanyCam that we have a program where every single one of our clients gets 30 days of CompanyCam for free. Like, we underwrite that with CompanyCam. We want to force you to use CompanyCam. If you do not handle photo documentation effectively, CompanyCam can solve that problem for you. They have the most efficient software and tool out there that you need to have on your belt that allows your staff, whether it's sales, project management, whoever is out on the job, to quickly and efficiently document via photos in the CompanyCam. It's an app, easy, it's on your phone, it's simple to use. You photo document hundreds of photos, they immediately go into the cloud, geotagged by that file in that address, makes that project file, and it's immediately available to Balance, immediately available to your office, internal claims department back at the home office while you're still out on the job. So the estimators can have those photos quickly. You can draw on the photos, annotate them, do augmented reality measuring. Photos are such a huge part of documentation, especially when you're documenting loss, your pre-production photos, your during production photos, your post-production photos. As you're estimating and supplementing, it's critical that the Balance or the people supplementing your files have access to the documentation, that they're referencing that during the supplement process, right? Other documentation, having all of the correct paperwork in order on the front end, the contract between you and your customer, whatever measurement report that you're using, having that with the photo documentation, whatever original insurance paperwork that there is, if their insurance carrier's already been out and they've provided an insurance scope that defines what they see as being the loss on the job, you want to have that documentation. And then, so those of you who are general contractors, all of your subcontractors, CompanyCam's great for subcontractors as well. We have a lot of contractors, especially our larger clients, that use CompanyCam and provide it to their general contractors, right? So their gutter crews, their siding crews, especially interior companies, people doing water main, fire, mold, asbestos, lead abatement type work. There's a lot more granular documentation that goes into those files. While the estimate for the project might be smaller in a flooded bathroom, in Xactimate, you could have 10x the line items that you do on exterior because there's certain things that just you cannot see as easily that might be damaged. So documentation is key. And having an efficient process to handle that and get the documentation, especially the photos, which is what a lot of contractors struggle with, which is why CompanyCam is such a wonderful business. It makes photos easy, gets them into the cloud, and makes it easy to get the photos for all of your projects to whoever needs them. It integrates with all of the major CRMs in the space. You can share a link. Much for those of you who are just using Dropbox or Google Drive, that was a great first step. I remember a time when there was no CompanyCam and there was just Dropbox and Google Drive. CompanyCam will revolutionize your efficiency with handling photos and how you document loss. Make it so much easier and less frustrating for the people that are in the field, especially if you have your salespeople doing all of the photo documentation themselves. They can quickly and easily take the photos. They're immediately available in the master account in the cloud, anywhere at the home office. You can just share a link. You can fling a link to anybody through a text, in a CRM tool, via email. At Balance, like I said, we set all of our clients up with CompanyCam. We try very hard to force it on people because it's a game changer in terms of documentation. It so helps the estimating and the supplementing process, and it makes it easy for salespeople in the field to take photos. I have horror stories of clients. I remember one last year that Michael and I were working with where their sales reps were spending hours out in the field trying to pull over and find a place where they could get just Wi-Fi access so they could upload the volume of photos they needed to upload to Dropbox and have enough bandwidth to do so. CompanyCam erases all that. You're able to quickly and efficiently take all the photos. They're immediately available in the cloud. You don't have to upload groups of photos. They just go into the cloud. The folks at Balance, my estimating team and supplementing team, have access to that right away to mate it with all the other documentation that you have that we kind of scrape the surface of. All the paperwork, the measurements, the sub bids, everything else that's going on in the life cycle of that claim. You want to have all that bottled up and have an efficient process, again, to coordinate that. We see a lot of contractors that struggle with that, especially contractors that are just living and breathing in email, right? They don't have a CRM. It's just email and phone, and they're using their iPhone or the Android phone to take all the photos. And they have no good way to disseminate these photos. You end up getting a much lower average claim because it's more challenging for you to supplement effectively because you don't have proper documentation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that probably answered my next question. So I'm going to maybe even turn you to number two. So I had written down here, I was on Balance's website. I looked at, the DNA of a claim. I read that blog, really enjoyed that blog post. I think documentation is probably the biggest financial downfall that contractors have in terms of maximizing their claims. What else do you see, or maybe you have a different idea of, what's that? Where are they leaving the most meat on the bone? As you said earlier, what are they lacking? What downfall is there financially that, with the contractors should be maybe looking at doing to get more out of their claims?
Well, and first off, they should be supplementing every file at some level, right? Ethically and compliantly supplementing every file. The adjusters for the insurance carriers, they work very hard. Sometimes they miss things. And so we don't want to go down. It's a slippery slope there. But especially if you're looking to enhance your abilities to get overhead and profit, it's a hot buzzword. But this year, the overhead and profit and the RFG versus DMO for the tear off of the, especially exterior contracting, the roof has been hot topics, right? And so what we find is documentation is key to both of those, okay? So if you're going to be estimating and supplementing all your files for a roofing labor hours versus a demolition labor hours, with the insurance carriers who know that's a hot topic, you need to have documentation that you use roofing crews to do the tear off, okay? So this is an area where you can increase the size of the file ethically and compliantly, and you should, but you need to document via photographic or video evidence that you're using your roofing crew to do the tear-off, okay? And then the sub-bids can be supplied to support that. So then when you or Balance is estimating that claim and changing the roofer hours from DMO to RFG and supplementing and submitting that file, we've got all the photographic documentation, all the sub-bids showing that you paid the roofer labor hours out. Same could be said for steep roofs where you need to be roped up or in a harness, right? The insurance carriers, when they're working on that supplement with you or with Balance, want documentation of your people in harnesses roped up on the roof. Your word is not good enough as a contractor. It might have been 10 years ago, but in the current landscape of our industry, you have to have documentation. It just makes it so much easier. So why wouldn't you document? It's so easy with CompanyCam. So those are two examples where you should be getting more money on your claim as a contractor, where if you don't have the proper documentation, it's so challenging and frustrating because it's just your word against theirs. And so a majority of the time, you're not going to get that. O&P is a third landscape. It's a good example. We can talk about these three things for an hour or more. And we've got some information on our website about that as well. But overhead and profit, the key is documentation. You want to be able to document the complexity, the coordination, the multiple trades that you have on that file, and then understand the situation surrounding overhead and profit. Being able to reference the Xactimate white paper on that, mixing that with preparing and working with your property owner so they understand what you're doing for them. And they are communicating with the insurance carrier. It's very important from a compliance standpoint. As a contractor, it's not your job to interpret policy. As a supplementing firm, we can't do that either. It's not our job to interpret, to talk, or advise on policy. It's our job, as yours, to work through the administrative process surrounding that construction project and be able to ethically represent to the insurance carrier what you as a contractor need to do to return that property to pre-storm conditions if it's an insurance job with like, kind, and quality materials. And the estimating process and the supplementing process should be reflective of that. It's so much easier when you have proper documentation, especially around those three kind of hot topic examples: RFG versus DMO on the labor hours, getting paid for the supervision, being roped up on steep roofs and having harnesses, again, documentation, and then overhead and profit. If you're documenting everything, it's much easier to demonstrate the complexity, the coordination, especially if your subcontractors that you're managing as a general contractor are using CompanyCam and they're documenting everything. You can show the before and after, and I know Michael will talk about that a little bit. We work with our contractors to show, and through CompanyCam, the before and after, the pre-production photos, the during production photos, and then the post-production photos to tell a story. For those of you who do water, it is so important in a water loss to tell a story, okay, with that file. And it's very hard to tell a story using only words. Much easier with proper documentation. And when you're able to tell a story using proper documentation, photographic, video, with the right notes, and you have a before and after, and then you have all your paperwork in order, and you have a standard operating procedure at your company to do that, and you're working with a business process outsourcer like Balance, who is tapped into all the right resources. Things need to be escalated. You need to be vertically integrated as a contractor, meaning you need to know the right public adjusters, the right lawyers, the right appraisers, have the right systems, have the right business process outsourcing and consultants around you so you can focus on selling, building, and billing. And so it's a long answer to a simple question, but documentation is key. If you want to get the true market value for your customer, help them get that on their claim so they can communicate that to the insurance carrier. It's much easier to do if you have photo documentation.
Awesome. And you kind of segued me too nicely, talking about some O&P and stuff there. We also, so this is a weekly series. We're going to go live 11:30 Central Time, 12:30 Eastern. Talk about it every Tuesday. We've got Pate Smith with Premier Claims on the books here in July.
We love Pate, such a close partner of ours. Those of you who know Pate, Premier Claims, great company. There's a lot of great public adjusting firms in the space. At Balance, we partner with all of the major ones. Premier Claims is one of the absolute best. For those of you who don't know Pate Smith, he's somebody you need to have on speed dial. He's who I call when I need to get questions answered. And very close partner to Balance, and just a good friend, very knowledgeable guy. He's a lawyer and a public adjuster, so it's a good combination. Just a good guy all around. So Premier Claims, good company, and they're going to tell you the same thing I'm telling you. Use CompanyCam.
Yeah, well, hopefully. So no pressure there, Pate. But yeah, we've got Pate on the schedule. We've got Bill Combs, No Time for Social, is going to be on with us, kind of helping.
Another great company, No Time for Social. That's who we use at Balance. So for all our social marketing, social media marketing, no time for social, look no further. I have no time for social. They handle it for us.
Yeah, so we got them on deck. Trying to think who else I have on deck. Pit Crew Roofing, I think, is going to join us. They're using CompanyCam in some
Great
unique
company.
ways.
Brittany Cherub and her husband running a great organization down in Florida, Pit Crew. Awesome client to Balance. We're happy to partner with them. Just a great organization, top to bottom.
Yeah, so they're all on tap for this. I do want to maybe in August even get somebody from Balance, David from the claims, or somebody that the estimators on here.
I think that's a great idea where we can have a little bit of a technical kind of shop talk. We're scraping the surface on a lot of general stuff quickly today with our time, but we work so closely with CompanyCam, and both of our companies have grown. We're scaled at 30 plus employees. So I wanted you to have the opportunity to hear from some of our technical experts at Balance to kind of go down the rabbit hole. And I'd love it, Michael, if we could coordinate where we had some questions from the Facebook Live audience when we're on, so we could get David Mrazek, Stephen Tutterow, Ryan Wilson, Josh Roseboom, our technical powerhouse folks at Balance, who are actually sorting through these issues with our clients day to day.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to kind of hope. So I think people are going to reach out to both of us with questions from this, or hopefully they do. But kind of a call to action is, get us questions that you would love to have, the leading estimators in the space answered, and we'll get we'll find a talk about it Tuesday that we can get them on in August, and we'll just run a Q&A session, and I'll kind of fire the questions that the Facebook followers that we have, and we'll be able to get this shared out on the Balances page. Maybe talk to Autumn and get this out on When the Storm. We'll get this video out there. We'll get the questions that the contractors have, and then we'll pose them to your experts.
So I got a question for you, man. You gonna eat one of those tacos or what? I'm getting hungry just looking at it behind you, brother.
Well, here's the deal. So, I'm not gonna throw Jared under the bus here, but probably should have got soft shell tacos. I could have had these all gone hours ago but I didn't want to be crunching here while I'm live with you. But yeah, I'm gonna rush you off the air here so I can put these down pretty soon. But
listen, I want to wish everybody a happy Independence Day.
Absolutely.
Just grateful to live here in America and have freedom. Thankful for all of our partners and contractors out there that we serve and that we liaise with, those that we do business with, those that we don't, all the other people that contribute to the space. I want everybody to have a safe and a happy 4th of July here tomorrow, an enjoyable holiday. Thank you for your business. Thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your camaraderie.
Absolutely, Troy. That's, I couldn't have said it better myself. Show everybody real quick what you're looking out at here while we're live.
Oh God, I'm lucky enough to squeeze away on a family vacation here. So this is the last part of my work week before I step into vacation. We're going to be down here at Orange Beach, Alabama. We'll do a little commercial for the Carib Resort here, which we love to come and stay at. So I get the joy of having my office today. Wonderful balcony overlooking the ocean, and the kids are here, and we're about to go spend some time with them at the pool and just celebrate what makes this country great. So
I definitely appreciate you jumping on with us. Like I told you this morning when we chatted, I got a 3 and a 5-year-old at home, Brecken and Rylan, and we're gonna go get some fireworks. We're gonna blow some stuff up here as soon as we sign off. Definitely appreciate you jumping on with us, Troy. I don't know that there's many better that could have kicked off the Talk About It Tuesday than you. So I appreciate that. And,
Because reach out to Michael at CompanyCam. Reach out to me. He's going to pull up a slide here at the end with our contact information. It's hard to really get into a lot of detail, so we scrape the surface on 3 quick topics here that are hot topics in the space. So those of you contractors, other businesses and entrepreneurs and companies in the space, we want to work with you. I know it's not easy all the time. We're all involved in other organizations. We are participating in the Catalyst Group, and there's other great organizations, the American Policyholder Association, other great groups out there, Storm Ventures.
Well, Troy, I think we lost you there, buddy. But hey, Troy, thanks again for jumping on with us. I'm going to throw the slide up here with our contact information. Reach out to us. We would love to connect further, whether you're a contractor or third party of some kind. let's connect. Appreciate you joining us, and don't forget next Tuesday, 11:30 Central Time. We'll talk about it again. Thanks, guys.